do. Now, for the third part of the show, we've done a bit of this, we've done a bit of that, poetry and stuff in past. We're going to do a chuffing joke. And the reason we're going to do it is the first time, because I mentioned my friend, my old acquaintance, my old mucker, Chuffing Young Dino, earlier on. He got me to kind of chuffing ruminate it. Now, he told me this joke. Second, third time I ever met the guy, we was in Borsey, and he told me this joke, and I fell about chuffing laughing. I thought it was really chuffing good. But a lot of people don't like it. I personally, since I've heard it, I've told it to 10 people. One laughed, one smiled, 3 fainted, 2 have emigrated, and 3 of them end up in chuffing hospital. I think 2 of them now are on a chuffing psychiatric ward. So we'll see how you, ladies and gentlemen, sunshines and sweetie pies, see how you fare with it. I basically called the gag Orange for a Chuffing Head. Right, and it goes something like this. Other day, I was walking along this chuffing beach. Beautiful sunny day, birds are tweeting, blue sky. The waves are casually lapping up on the old chuffing beach. There's a guy walking towards me who is totally and utterly normal in every conceivable possible way you can be normal, apart from the one distinct feature that he's got a chuffing, oversized chuffing satsoma. Massive orange for a chuffing head. I couldn't take my eyes off him. I was going to say something. Curiosity. But I thought, no, he must get it all the time. He must be chuffing fed up to his chuffing back teeth if oranges have got chuffing teeth. He must be fed up of it. So I was going to give him a chuffing miss. But he must have seen me looking. And he made a beeline towards me. I'm trying to avoid him. He came towards me and says, look, mate. He says, I'm not bothered. He says, I get it all the time. He says, I'm used to it. He says, if you want to know, just ask. I said, well, I don't know what to say. I said, I've never, ever in all of my life, ever physically on the TV, in books or whatever, I've never met anybody like you. I've never seen anybody like you. I said, chuffing, what happened? And he's talking, chuffing mouthing, oranges going like this, a couple of little chuffing beady eyes. I couldn't see nostrils or ear holes, but he definitely had eyeballs and a chuffing go. And it was chuffing going. What happened to you now? He says, well, funnily enough, he says, about 3 or 4 years ago, he says, I run this chuffing, very same chuffing beach. He says, I'm walking along, he says, and over there, he says, I've seen something chuffing glinting in the sand. So I made a beeline towards it, caught my attention, pulled it out at sand, and it was a lantern. He says, and that morning, he says, I've been watching chuffing Sinbad. You know, I didn't think no Tommy, but I thought, oh, I wonder if it's one of those bloody magic lanterns, like a little kid, you know. So I get it chuffing wrong. Chuffing Genie comes out, doesn't he? He's like this, Genie. It's, oh, great one. Oh, master, you have 3 wishes at your disposal, oh, great one. What is your first command? He says, I couldn't believe it. He said, I thought, bloody hell, must have had some chuffing dodgy mushrooms or something, but I thought, might as well play along, hadn't I? So I says to Chuffing Genie, I says, I want unlimited chuffing money. And Genie went, Dad! And he disappeared back in chuffing vessel. So I was naturally, you would do, wouldn't you? He says, I go to the bank, puts chuffing card in, types my code in, up pops on screen, 1 million chuffing quid. £1 million. Before I'd had a £2 bloody 50, and then it took me 6 months to say that chuffing much up. So I goes in bank, didn't I? I drew out £500,000. 500,000. Goes back with my card, shows it in bloody slot outside. It's £2 million in. The more I drew out, the more was accumulating in me. I was getting richer and richer by spending more and more. And the thing is, it says the bank manager or the government or the count or whoever who monitors this card, nobody ever said out. So I bought chuffing cars, motorbikes, chuffing houses, jewellery, bloody helicopters, chuffing speedboat, bloody hovercraft, scale electrics. I said, I bought chuffing all sorts with it. He said, but you can only have so many possessions. Which proves it, you know what I mean? So I got fed up with that. So one day, he gets chuffing, I thought I'd lost it at first, but he just underneath cushion on settee. Put the lantern down, gives it a chuffing roll. Chuffing Genie pops out again. Head's like that. Every time I'm getting him out, he's swaying a bit more. He said, oh, great one. Oh, master. What is your second command, oh, great one? He says, I want to be irresistible to the chuffing fair to sex, to women, to crumpet. So they can't take the chuffing eyes off me. Disappeared back in chuffing vessel. So I goes out on the street. Everywhere I was going, no matter where I went, women could not take their eyes off me. They're nudging their mates. Boyfriends are getting chuffing jealous. All hell's kicking off. He said, I'd not had a bath in 3 days. He said, I had about 8 days worth of chuffing growth on my face. I was mucky. I had last night's chuffing curry stains all over my shirt. He says, I look like I've been chuffing dragged through an edge backwards, thrown out of a chuffing helicopter and then thrown through a stained glass chuffing window. He said, look at that chuffing mess. But he says they couldn't get enough. He says, I ducked in this chuffing cafe, to get coffee and a chuffing hobnob. Chuffing kept on coming up. Chuffing notes are being dropped on table, folded up. Chuffing, meet me here, meet me there. I'll chuffing do this, I'll chuffing do that. You know what I mean? Forget about my husband and all that stuff. I'm up for it, you know what I mean? You couldn't believe it. Now that part, that second wish, he did that for about a year and a half. Finally got his chuffing fill of that. So he'd had his money, he'd had his chuffing crumpet. And I says to him, that unbelievable story. I said, never heard anything like it. And he was about to walk away. I said, whoa. He says, 1 second. I says, just out of curiosity, I says, what were your third wish? He says, I told Jeannie I wanted a chuffing orange for an head. That's why he's got an orange for an head. It was his third wish. First wish were money. Second wish were crumpet. Third wish were a chuffing orange. He said best till last. The pièce de résistance to end. Okay, sugars, sweetie pie, sunshines. Catch you later. Right. Before I kind of sign off on this particular episode, I want to tell you something now. Something a little bit. See, it's been a bit of a problematic, a bit of a turbulent chuffing week. Now that we've done this bells review and all that kind of stuff, I've got to get serious. Basically, I've had worms. The entire family has had chuffing worms. I don't know where they've come from. Here, there, it doesn't matter where. Could have been in a chuffing bacon sandwich. I don't know. But we've had chuffing organisms. Small, little, wriggling organisms in our chuffing bodies. Now, the rest of my missus and my kid and everything, they were chuffing freaking out. They weren't there chuffing happy. But to me, to be honest, sometimes, the way the sleeping arrangements are, sometimes I end up in a bed on my own. Not because we're falling out. It's a family situation. Sometimes I end up in the bed on my own. And I have found great comfort and great solace in them chuffing worms. Because, sometimes if you're on your own and you're laid in that bed, it's middle of chuffing night, it's pitch black outside, you can barely see chuffing, moon's hidden behind a chuffing cloud, it's black. And you feel like you're the only person in the known chuffing universe. Now, I got into that mindset and I'm thinking I'm all on my own. And at that moment, I didn't reach for a chuffing cuddly teddy. I didn't go running back into the other room where the other people's at. I thought about my chuffing worms. All those little wriggling chuffing craniums, the worms, little chuffing heads, craniums, little chuffing mandibles, laid on my chuffing lower intestine, on my chuffing colon. The heads laid on my colon, keeping me company. My intestinal tract was keeping them secure. It was keeping them safe. It was keeping them warm. They had all the love, all the comfort, all the warmth they needed. But I've took the medicine now, I've killed them. So I feel, to be honest, for the rest of the week, if I seem to have like a look on my face, like I'm a bit depressed, I'm chuffing mourning my worms. Because I was starting to get to a place where I thought I knew them. And I was enjoying having them around. So, I just thought I'd leave you with that little bit of message. So, in future, if you get worms, before you chuffing eradicate them and exterminate them and all that kind of Nazi stuff, maybe let them be. Let them live. Just for a little bit. And you're giving them shelter. You're giving them a house to enjoy for a temporary period of time. Food for thought. See you later, sweethearts and sweaty pies. Mr. Nose. Right, he's got a few bits of advice. One of them is, you get your glass, you get your bottle, you pour it in. Not a bottle like this. This ain't going to work with a bottle like this. Big bottle. Pour it in. First one, you swirl it around. You're shoving through it on the floor. And his psychology, his philosophy behind this is he washes any impurities out of the glass so that you smell it better and that you taste it better. So I can understand that. But for me, on a chuffing pittance, if I'm doing that and I'm throwing that on the floor, 5 seconds later, I'm on my hands and knees, I'm chuffing slurping it up like a chuffing dog. I'm not like laminate flooring of it. Bloody hell's bells. So that's one piece of advice, yes. He also has a piece of advice about smelling it and how you should address it. Because, Big Al, left nostril, right nostril, nipple, shuffling the old, woo, all that kind of stuff would be a big no-no with the nose. A no-no with the nose. What he says you do is you pour your whiskey in, give it a little swirl like this. But don't agitate it too much, you know what I mean? Let it settle. And then what you do at first is you go, hello, how are you? Quite well, thank you very much. And then you shove your beak in like a flaming penguin, attacking a chuffing ice cap. And you have a good sniff, and then eventually you taste it. So that's his advice. So that's Richard the Nose Patch, and a little bit of information on that guy for the chuffing street. Now, last night, I've got to admit, was harrowing. I know I'm always like kind of rough and ready. Today, I'm chuffing rough, but I ain't ready. Because our Charlie, little Charlie boy's had a chuffing stomach bug. He'll bloody projectile vomiting. At one point, it was like a scene out of the chuffing Exorcist. I thought his head was going to start spewing like a bloody fire hydrant. Chuffing vomit, bouncing left, right, chuffing centre. But, and I'm telling you, with about 2 hours sleep, I think I'm starting to wonder I'm turning into a giraffe. Do you know a statistic about giraffes? And this ain't off of David Attenborough, this is off of chuffing Big Al. I'm telling you now, giraffes sleep about 20 minutes at a time, about 3 times a day. But I think I'm turning into a bloody giraffe. In fact, the other day I was brushing my teeth, I looked in the mirror, I'm sure my neck's getting longer. I'm going off kebabs, I'm going off pizzas, a bloody burger and chips. Every time I see like an acacia tree on TV, chuffing start licking my lips, I'm bloody salivating. Turn into a chuffing giraffe, I'm telling you. Right, welcome to Chuffing Big Al's Poetry Corner. Because if you didn't know already, I'm chuffing out poetry. I wrote this, in case you've not seen me previous chuffing masterpieces. It's called I'm Lovely, First Thing in the Chuffing Morning. And it goes something like this. Creamy yellow teeth, a red spot on the end of my nose, smelly, matted, cheesy funk residing between my chuffing toes, big bogies on my beak, a piece of cracker in my ear, a vacant expression upon my boat whilst I'm sitting in my chair. Last night, ruby muddy stains on my sweaty vest, breath like a skunk. On a chuffing bad day, I'm really not at my best. Yes, folks, I'm lovely. First thing in the morning. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the whiskey review and the music and the chuffing poetry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, sunshines and sweaty pies. I'd like to welcome you to the 10th, you heard me right, the 10th instalment of the Chuffing Big Al Show. Now, stick around because you're in for a chuffing treat. You are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, sunshines and sweaty pies. I'd like to welcome you to the 10th, you heard it right, 10th instalment of the Chuffing Big Al Show. Now, stick around because you're in for a chuffing treat in Singleton 12. Yes. Now, this particular mod, I've never had it. I've never supped it. I've never tried it. Unless I've been absolutely pissed at a chuffing party and somebody just give it to me randomly and I didn't realise. But so I wouldn't sup this anyway, to be honest. Apart from this whiskey review, I wouldn't sup this because I'm a married man. This is for single people. That's why it's called Chuffing Singleton. Oh. Now, the first one I ever had was on my first date, my first official date with my beautiful wife, Chuffing Charlotte. We went round town and we went into a place there called Central Park. And I missed that bloody place, Central Park, because they used to do, if anyone's watching this, whoever went in and had the Grand Royale, the double Grand Royale cheeseburger with that melted cheddar sauce on it, get in touch with me, tell me what you thought about it, because I still wake up. I still wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, chuffing crying, sobbing, tears falling from my eyes, trying to go, oh, bloody hell. What's up with you? Are you all right? I'm chuffing. I just want a Grand Royale. I just want one more. This is the kind of shit that upsets Big Al. It's not the weather. It's not work. It's not this. It's not being able to have my chuffing melted chuffing cheddar sauce. Now, I'm not happy about it. I tried to bloody track the chuff. They had to take an injunction out on me because I was chasing the chuffing chef that used to make it. I was chasing him around. And he says, look, mate. He says, this is getting too heavy, this is getting too serious, I'm going to have to phone police. I thought he was messing about. He weren't messing about. Injunction out of me. I can't get nowhere near his chuffing cheddar sauce recipe because I've been banned by the chuffing courts.